At the intersection of narcissism and sociopathy is Donald Trump, and he's more dangerous than ever. He just tweeted, "All roads lead to Obama. Read truth if you want public military tribunals." And that's everything right there. Trump wants to arrest Obama, and he's testing the waters right now. But it's not entirely new. This has roots in both Trump's bigotry and QAnon.
Have you guys been following 4chan, Q, any of that stuff? Anybody?
So what the is QAnon? Well, QAnon is a Nazism-inspired conspiracy theory. It comes from a person claiming to hold Q-level security clearance, whatever that is. And here's where it gets weird. They allege that public figures, usually Democrats like Obama and Hillary Clinton, are running a, wait for it, satanic child trafficking cannibal ring with world-spanning power and influence over the U.S. government specifically.
There's possible satanic worship, and maybe that all these scary things that people talk about on what's considered conspiracy sites and conspiracy theories really may be true. But that's what Q has been telling everyone.
Now, there are variants of this theory, including that JFK or his son are secretly alive and leading the resistance. But the key part of this insanity is that Trump is the leader of this fight against this shadowy group, and he alone will bring the perpetrators to justice with mass arrests and military tribunals.
Right after the attack on the Capitol, 41% of white evangelicals said they either somewhat or completely agreed with the statement, "If elected leaders will not protect America, the people must do it themselves, even if it requires taking violent actions."
Okay, first of all, there are millions of dim-witted, slack-jawed Trump supporters who believe everything from the world is flat to the idea that Biden was Obama wearing a mask.
Obama is playing Sleepy Joe Biden in a mask.
She's real, by the way. But what Trump is trying to do is push these junior high grads into believing that the Democrats, or never-Trumpers, are literally the enemy and must be vanquished.
Let's put her with a rifle standing there with 9 barrels shooting at her, okay? Let's see how she feels about it. You know, when the guns are trained on her face.
But Obama is without a doubt the greatest focus of Trump's mental illness. Starting back in 2011, Trump started the rumors that Obama was actually born in Kenya.
I just say very simply, why doesn't he show his birth certificate?
And when Obama won his second term and Trump began his unlikely candidacy, Trump started spreading the lie that Obama was bugging Trump Tower.
Even by his own standards, the president leveled an extraordinary accusation against his predecessor, accusing former President Barack Obama of wiretapping him last October during the critical final weeks of the election. If Mr. Trump is flat out wrong, what made him level this extraordinary charge? Did the man who has daily access to the deepest levels of U.S. intelligence base his claims on something he read on the internet?
By the way, Michael Flynn, he was later convicted of lying to the FBI about his discussions with the Russians, as well as being a paid advisor to Turkey while being the national security advisor. But what really became clear over the last 8 years is Obama remains an obsession to Trump and all of his personal inferiority complexes. And it doesn't help that Obama loves making fun of Trump.
Now, I know that he's taken some flack lately, but no one is happier, no one is prouder to put this birth certificate matter to rest than the Donald. And that's because he can finally get back to focusing on the issues that matter. Like, did we fake the moon landing? What really happened in Roswell? And where are Biggie and Tupac? Say what you will about Mr. Trump, he certainly would bring some change to the White House.
Trump is easy to define: an anti-intellectual, racist, vengeful, tiny penis, and thick as mud envy over everything from Obama's Nobel Peace Prize to the scale of his inauguration crowd. Remember that?
This was the largest audience to ever witness an inauguration, period, both in person and around the globe.
So almost a decade after Trump's birtherism, man titties came full circle with Obamagate, which accuses Obama of working in league with the deep state to frame Trump for colluding with Russia to win the 2016 election, of which there's zero evidence for this claim. Indeed, a case could be made that supposed deep state did more to help Trump than hurt him when the FBI director, James Comey, reopened an investigation into Clinton the day before the election. So what you need to understand is that Trump will never feel right until he can arrest Obama, and who knows what after that. And that's why Trump is doing what he can now to dismantle the courts, and particularly the Supreme Court.
I mean, we are on the edge of a dark precipice where the rule of law doesn't exist, at least at the federal level. And that, I don't think people fully understand that yet.
Trump tweeted a veiled threat to John Roberts, the Chief Justice of the court, implying he should be put in jail. And here's what's coming. Trump, under the advice of this cockwaffle.
Children will be taught to love America. Children will be taught to be patriots. Children will be taught civic values for schools that want federal taxpayer funding. So as we close the Department of Education and we provide funding to states, we are going to make sure that these funds are not being used to promote communist ideology. For any nation to be successful, it cannot teach its children to hate themselves and to hate their country.
Well, Mantates is trying to create enemies that don't exist.
It's the enemy from within.
And to protect ourselves from them, we have to disregard the Constitution temporarily.
The Constitution is clear, and that, of course, is the supreme law of the land, that the privilege of the writ of habeas corpus can be suspended in a time of invasion. So I would say that's an option we're actively looking at.
So Trump is praying that in the months leading up to the midterms, Democrats take to the streets so he can invoke the Insurrection Act, suspend habeas corpus, and start putting members of Congress, the media, and especially Barack Obama in jail.
If anyone's breaking the law in this situation, it's not members of Congress, it's the Department of Homeland Security. It's people like Tom Homan and Secretary Kristi Noem. You lay a finger on someone, on Representative Bonnie Watson Coleman, on Representative, or any of the representatives that were there, you lay a finger on them, we are going to have a problem.
Now, she's tough, and that seems to be the prevailing thought, that should Trump put a move on the Constitution by arresting federal judges, Congress, and presidents, that Americans will fight back in the courts, in the streets, and especially, Donnie, in your face.
Damn right. Trump is a sexual predator.
You're a nasty person.
Bloated and fat and disgusting. We're a nation that speaks English.
Look, if something like this, that thing start goggling.
You're an idiot. Goddamn right.
Drop your pants.
I don't want to talk about this stuff.
Am I wrong?
Yes.
Tick-tock.
You're in a lot of trouble, Donnie.
I think he's crazy.
I'm Chip Franklin.